Thank you so much, Charlie, and thank you so much for inviting us. It's a pleasure, as always, to deliver one of our presentations to Enactus students and those who want to hopefully become one of the Enactus students. So let me just share my screen real quick. But I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I do really hope that you will be able to learn something interesting from this session, and I hope that we'll see some of your applications coming through to one of our programs. So today's session, we will be focusing on demystifying commercial banking and wealth and personal banking programs. Those two programs in particularly, I am a recruiter for alongside some of my colleagues. And we have two of our current graduates here with me on the call, Jenny and Kaylin, who will be sharing their own experience on how it is being a CMB or WPB grad. I will hand it over to them later on, but first let me move on and give you some information on what to expect from this session today. So we'll start with a quick introduction about HSBC, and then immediately after I will hand over to Kaylin to do a presentation on commercial banking, and then to Jenny on wealth and personal banking. Then we'll discuss the application process. Hopefully those two presentations will spark your interest and you would like to apply. So this is where I will come in and give you some useful information onto what to expect. And then we'll finish it off with a Q&A. If you have any questions during the session as well, feel free to pop them in the chat and we will be more than happy to answer those for you. So moving on, and to share some information about HSBC and also in particular those two business areas, we do serve our customers through three global businesses, and it's global banking and markets, which we will not be touching upon today, but we will be discussing commercial banking and wealth and personal banking. And these three businesses are supported by essential global functions, which also have great opportunities for students and for graduates. And these include global operations and also technology. So global operations helps to deliver products and services in simpler, better, and faster ways, whilst technology, where we also have some opportunities for students, you will be taking on the world's biggest financial platform and data challenges. And all of these are under a big family that is HSBC. And you probably already know this information if you are interested about HSBC, but what I really want to highlight is how global we are, and this global connectivity does set us apart, bringing people, ideas, and capital together. And I think one of my favorite bits and pieces of information to share is how amazing it feels having over 200,000 colleagues worldwide. So hopefully we'll see one of you coming in and also joining the huge family that is HSBC. So speaking of HSBC and speaking of one of the first business areas, I am going to hand over to Kaylin for the demystifying commercial banking bit. So Kaylin, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Anastasia, and thank you for everyone coming to this event. So quick introduction about me. My name is Callum Petrov. I'm originally from Romania, but I've been living in the UK for the past 15 years. And I'm currently in my first graduate rotation at HSBC in the commercial banking graduate scheme as a senior business manager / relationship manager in BB Direct, but I'll be going into that a bit later. So first of all, what is commercial banking? Initially, when I joined HSBC, I didn't really have that much of an idea what commercial banking is because it's such a wide remit of fields, areas, expertise. So in short, commercial banking is offering tailored solutions for businesses' needs, regardless of size and scope. We serve more than 38 million customers, from retail customers to ultra high net worth individuals and their families. We offer locally tailored products and services across multiple channels for our customers' everyday banking needs, as well as insurance, investment management, advisory, and wealth solutions for those with more sophisticated requirements compared to other businesses. Our global presence provides for customers with international needs, so whatever needs they have, whether they be domestic or international, HSBC is there to help them. So in CMB, we kind of tailor for three specific market areas. So we have SME, which is a small market enterprise. So this can be like your local coffee shops, your high street bakeries, those sort of clients that maybe are turning over anywhere from £50,000 to £1 million maximum. So for SME, we offer things such as simple as renewing their 50,000K overdraft, all the way to helping them move into a new premises or acquiring a similar sized business. Then we have the second area of the market, which is MME, which is the mid-market enterprise. This is your slightly bigger businesses such as construction companies, restaurant chains, along the lines of like Itsu. And again, we help them slightly similar needs as the SME, but obviously a bit different because they have a much higher turnover, anywhere ranging from 5 million to 300 million turnover annually. So here we may help them with possible global expansion, acquiring maybe another chain of restaurants. So quite different needs. And then lastly, we have large corporates. This is the very high end of the market. So these clients usually turn over 350 million plus to anywhere else. So we bank some quite well-known brand names such as Aston Martin, the car company, and McLaren as well. So an LC, maybe a company of that stature would probably need like a loan of maybe say 100 million, and HSBC will be there on hand to help them that, or maybe they will need to expand in a different market or acquire a completely similar sized business in, for example, Asia or Europe. And again, with HSBC's global footprint, we're able to easily do this. Furthermore, in 4 short sentences, CMB is about helping with expansion, growth, and sustainable transitions for our clients' businesses. We are able to connect entrepreneurial passions and opportunities to business. Again, that's where we can call on our global network to put people in contact with people they didn't even know they maybe needed. We can also help clients with financing needs, trade solutions, and treasury services, and much more, as well as offering a full suite of products and services, providing expert financial advice and helping to access international markets, as mentioned. Secondly, in commercial banking, the main customer-facing roles are being a relationship manager, where you basically just manage the relationship with your clients. For example, in SME, which is a small market enterprise, a relationship manager may have a portfolio of about 200 customers, but they have to really manage that relationship daily, or weekly call them and see that everything they're on hand whenever they need something. So in order for the RMs to get help with this, we have 5 specialist fields. So we have GTRF, which stands for Global Trade and Receivable Finance. This is about providing services and financing for buyers and suppliers throughout the trade cycle. So invoicing financing. This is basically where, say you are a company and you're buying from your supplier, but your supplier maybe is willing to pay you in 30 days, but you need that money right now for liquidity purposes. HSBC is offering to buy that invoice from your supplier and give you the money straight away, so you have that liquidity on hand whenever it's needed. And then obviously you will pay that back to HSBC within a certain agreed limits. Then we have another team, which is the GLCM. So this is the Global Liquidity and Cash Management. This basically gives businesses greater control over their cash and collections and helps them to manage their liquidity efficiently. Obviously, as a business, you need to be liquid all the time in order to be able to meet anything head on. So this is where HSBC really comes in handy, where we'll help the client with any liquidity services that they may need in order for them to be able to operate efficiently. We also provide banking services, so commercial clients with access to a wide range of investment banking and capital financing solutions. So again, if they need to raise debt or they need to raise capital to acquire a new business, HSBC will be there on hand again to help them with whatever need along those lines. We have the markets and security services. So this provides services in credit and rates, foreign exchanges, equities, and money markets. So for example, if you're a company in the UK and you want to start trading in Asia, and obviously you need to hedge against the foreign exchange rates, again, HSBC and its team will be on hand to help you with that. And lastly, there's also the insurance and investments. So here we offer businesses and financial protection, trade insurance, employee benefits, corporate wealth management, and a variety of other commercial risk insurance products. Once again, an all-around service that any client that banks with HSBC will be offered this. So now possibly the slightly more interesting bit is like a day in the life of a CMB graduate. So what exactly you will do. So as mentioned, my name is Callan. I graduated in accounting and management from the University of Queen Mary's this year. I am currently in my first placement, which is as a senior business manager / relationship manager, business banking direct. So at a smaller scale of the market, similar to what SME is. So again, the clients I usually deal with are like bakeries, high street shops, which is really nice because you get to speak to like the actual owner, understand their motivations, understand their passion for the business. My second placement will be in product. So applications for my second placement have already started. So I'm currently researching and speaking to people from those teams in order to kind of gauge what I would like to do and what team I'd like to be involved in. So a team in product would be like GTRF or GLCM, as mentioned. And then my final placement, which will start in August next year, will be in risk. I'm not sure what teams are available in risk yet, and that will come after my second placement. So my hobbies include playing tennis, watching Formula One, football, traveling, and like art. Like I enjoy going to art galleries, auctions, those kind of things. So the CMB graduate journey. So what would the CMB graduate journey look like for you guys? So initially, if you're coming straight in, then for the first 6 months is a customer facing role, which I'm currently in. This is everyone gets the customer facing role, and then later when the second and third one they get split up. So the customer facing role, the relationship management role, as I mentioned, you could be in teams such as business banking, where I'm in business banking direct. You can be in MME or large corporates, or also international subsidiary banking, which basically international subsidiary banking deals with as the name suggests, the international subsidiaries of large corporate clients. Then your second placement will be either risk or product. That depends on the journey and what the team decide will be the next product. And the risk management can be in things like global standards, credit training, anti-money laundering, and financial crime compliance. And the third one, which will be my second one, is the product phase. So as mentioned, you can be in GTRF, GLCM, mid-market financial sponsors, CMB origination. So in that way, through this graduate scheme, by getting exposed to 3 different facets of the business, when it's time to actually roll off, you kind of really understand where you would like to be and maybe what doesn't suit your skills. So that way you can really make an informed decision and be in a team where you can really specialize and really excel. There's also a potential extension, which I'm not sure is valid for us. I know it was valid last year, where there can be special projects placements. However, things like all destination roles for CMB are designed to be in the front line with customers. So again, you can be placed in like MME relationship support or business banking relationship manager. But I don't think that's something that currently applies anymore, but I could be wrong. So while you're on the CMB graduate journey, you will have to do a professional qualification. This greatly depends on your specific team. So your team can ask you to get involved in qualifications that maybe other teams will not require you. Or for example, what all of us in CMB have to do this time is the Moody's Credit Coach. So this is the core of the credit and risk programs, and is a combination of e-learning and instructor-led learning. We're required to complete a diagnostic test to review learning that is most relevant to the individual and their experience knowledge. And then after that test is done, then we get like a tailored learning plan where we can really excel and understand all about credit and how to deal with that. And of course, you need to complete prior to attending further credit and lending courses such as introduction and foundation credit risk courses. So this is a course that will apply to most likely anyone who joins the CMB, as it is extremely relevant and it really sets up the foundation. Of course, we also are able to the LIBF, which is the London Institute of Banking and Finance. That is, however, optional. That is a personal decision that depends on yourself, and if you feel you need to do it, or if you feel like maybe it doesn't apply to you, then you don't have to do it. And then, of course, there's other qualifications such as the CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst, or the ACA, the accounting standards. Those are extremely up to the team. Usually, the CMB team will not necessarily sponsor those unless you come up with a really valid reason as to why you need it and why it will help your development. But of course, that is something that you can discuss with your team when the time comes. And of course, while you're on the specific placement, there's also training that you might need to undertake. So for example, depending on the business area of the placement, with the main one being business score-based lending. So we'll have to do that. We have to do credit and risk foundation and credit risk introduction, because again, this really sets us up for everything that we need to kind of like know the basics of. Then there's also courses which you can sign up on My Learning. So for example, if you join your team and you see that your team is doing a lot of financial analysis and maybe you haven't done that before, there's lots of courses on My Learning, which is kind of like HSBC version of a mini university where you can really access everything. And you can undertake those. For example, in my role, I'm currently a sustainable finance ambassador. So therefore, my team has asked me to undertake a sustainable finance course on Degreed, which again is linked to My Learning, as well as a placement-specific learning around securities, because I deal a lot with clients who will offer us their securities in exchange for loans. So I have to be really up to date on securities and how to really deal with those. And then, of course, there'll be clear guidance will be given by emerging talent based on the direction of CMB Learning team to ensure only relevant courses are being attended. So, for example, in commercial banking, we currently cannot necessarily undertake the CFA because the skills we learn in the CFA are not necessarily applicable to what we're doing in CMB. Hence why that is not an option for us, but it is an option for WPB. So what does a day in my life of a CMB graduate look like? So firstly, my placement roles. So as mentioned, I'm a senior business manager / relationship manager in BB Direct. So in the morning, pretty much every morning, I shadow an RM daily. And in the morning, I have to do their morning queues. So around 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., I have to log on to a specific platform where basically what morning queues is, every client that's in the portfolio, they have some direct debits going out every day. And we have to analyze if they have enough money in their account to approve those direct debits. So for example, if I go to a client and they have a direct debit for salaries or say £6,000, but they're over their limit by about 2,000, I will call those clients or email them and asking them, can you please clear your debit balance, put money to the account so I can approve them, the direct debit, so everything can get paid. If they did not pay by either 11 a.m. or 3 p.m., then I'll have to decline that direct debit, and then the client has to contact us and tell us why they didn't put money in or what's going on. Secondly, I also shadow closely different RMs and helping them with things like renewals, credit memos, SLRTs, loan renewals, and RM attestations, where basically RM attestations is about attesting to the fact that the clients are on track, they're not high risk, they're not losing too much money, as well as calling clients. So there can be a lot of ad hoc tasks depending on what the day brings. The nice thing I like is that no day is the same. So one day you can be dealing with a client who is severely over their overdraft, or there's a client who has enough money but they need some different solutions. So that's a really cool thing. They can really understand all facets of the business. And as mentioned, there's multiple admin-based tasks such as reviewing team client spreadsheets, updating them, filling in for RMs, putting together learning materials for the team. So it really depends on the team and who you get as a buddy or a manager. So for example, in mid-November, I'll be taking over one of the RM's portfolios for a month because they're off on holiday. So that'll be quite a big learning curve because I've never taken over a portfolio before, and there's 200 clients at stake. So I'm really trying to learn as much as possible to really be able to do that properly. And of course, there's development opportunities as well. So you can engage in one-to-ones with program specialists, grad buddies, which everyone gets a grad buddy, mentors, which you can apply on the HSBC website for a mentor, line managers, etc. We just speak about well-being, progress, anything you really want. I think one of the really nice things about HSBC is that it's a very open environment where you can really speak your mind and really know that you're not judged or people are writing things about you. You just know that you're being listened to and helped. There's also things that's like sustainability based out of desk initiatives. So as mentioned, I'm a sustainable finance ambassador. I'm also part of the working group, as well as the GradCan, which is the Graduate Climate Action Network. So I write newsletters, opinion pieces about the environment and things like that. Furthermore, there's the Graduate Community Week. So I'm a member of the Ability Working Group, which deals with members of the disability groups and trying to really get that message out, understand more, and really serve the community as best as possible. And I'm also part of the Global Grad Buddy program, which is basically where you have a grad buddy from a completely different country, so you can speak to them, learn about them, understand different areas, which again, thanks to HSBC being so international, we really understand the variety of views and scopes, and it's just such an amazing thing to really see everyone else. And of course, there's networking and socializing opportunities, there's coffee chats with senior leadership in placement areas, there's networking with colleagues, and this is really down to you. Anyone is willing to speak to you, even if they're like a really high manager or even a grad. If they have like 10-15 minutes, they'll make room for you, no worries. And it's a really nice thing, really able to speak to everyone and understand them. And of course, as mentioned, the professional qualifications, the Moody's credit course, and specific placement courses. So in terms of what an average week looks like, so 60% is definitely day-to-day role. Development opportunities, 20%. That's usually I do it after work. So maybe if I finish at 5, then until 6, I'll do some of the learning I have to do. Of course, getting involved in the graduate community through different roles, networking and socializing, and professional qualifications. Again, it depends on everyone. Some people prefer focusing more on the professional qualifications rather than the graduate community. But that's again entirely up to you. And some quick what I thought versus kind of like reality. So when I came in, a lot of us thought like, due to the competitive nature of the recruitment process and moving from another country, I thought that I would be an imposter amongst other graduates. I think all graduates, even if maybe some don't admit it, we all feel a bit of imposter syndrome. Like, are we really worthy to be here? Can we actually do the job? But I think you quickly learn throughout all the development sessions and how nice everyone is that you are selected for a reason and you do have a space here, and there's a reason why you're here. It's not by luck or that maybe someone else dropped out and you got in. So yeah, all the graduates share their challenges and doubts, and you can relate to so many people on so many different points, which is again really good. Another one, being into the bank, it takes years to upskilling and training before being exposed to clients. Again, that's not necessarily the truth. For example, when I did my summer internship in large corporates at university, I studied accounting and management. So I have a very kind of like financial background, but so far I haven't really applied that much finance knowledge from what I did at university to my day-to-day role. And technically every day I just learn as I go along, learn new things. So even if something feels daunting at the beginning, for example, when I joined, I thought, oh, how was I ever going to speak to a client or deal with their needs? But now slowly, I'm really understanding it. So it's really good that even if you have no idea about banking or finance, it's not something to hold you back. You will quickly learn and be able to do it. Third thing is like, I would only make connections with my immediate team. That's definitely wrong. There's so many socializing opportunities. There's so many lunch and learns. There's so many things to attend that you can really like build your network to like the highest level. All you have to do is like be willing to learn, be willing to speak to people, and be willing to reach out, and then everyone will help you along the way. So that's another really good thing. Like everyone will give you time, regardless of who they are. And fourth point, which kind of links to the second point, I was worried about my lack of financial background, having studied pure mathematics. So some people in my course have in my like graduate team have studied like mathematics at university, but even they said I haven't really applied anything they learned in mathematics to what we're doing now, and technically it's also a complete learning curve for them. So just because you come from a financial background, it doesn't mean you'll necessarily excel over everyone else. I think the good thing about CMB is like there's kind of like a level playing field that kind of gets offered. Of course, if you have studied finance, you will learn some things quickly than others, but in the end, we're all kind of at the same level, and that's a really good thing that there's not like that competition that, oh, I've done something at uni which is finance and you haven't, so I'll likely be better than you. Now at HSBC, we really don't foster that kind of environment. We foster an environment of equality and where everyone has equal opportunity. So that's the really cool thing about it. So I will now be passing it to my colleague Jenny, who will tell you about wealth and personal banking.
Thanks, Kaylin. Yeah, so I'm going to cover the wealth and personal banking business area. So just a brief overview. My name's Jenny. I'm currently in my first rotation. I also did the summer internship in WPB, and then I got the graduate return offer to come back. Both of my experiences has both tended to digital. So currently I'm a digital experience manager for First Direct in their serve value stream. I'll go on to this a little bit after, but I also was part of Enactus Nottingham during my time at university. So it's great to see some of the Enactus students on here as well. And rest assured, all your experiences with Enactus can definitely support your application to any graduate scheme or role that you're looking for because of the transferable skills that you'll gain. The next slide, please, Anastasia. So just a brief overview, because it's quite technical, what wealth and personal banking is, but I'll try and keep it as succinct as possible. But we basically have a customer base of around 39 million customers around more than 30 markets. And essentially what we do is help them manage, protect, and grow their finances from anything such as buying their first home to saving or investing, and even managing relationships with higher net worth clients in our premier client base. And also developing new financial products to keep up with the market and all the trending needs as well. So this could be current accounts, personal loans, credit cards, insurance, saving products, investments, and so forth. We have four main pillars in wealth and personal banking. So the first pillar is developing a world-class digital banking service for customers, which basically makes banking a lot easier and enables customers to basically bank wherever they want and wherever their needs are. Our second pillar is based around international banking services. So whether that be from exchanging foreign currency and international transfers, to even opening accounts overseas in different countries. We also help support with that because of our international footprint as well. We've just actually launched our international proposition called Global Money today, which is really exciting, and I'm sure some of you might have heard about that. Our third pillar is our financial management tools, which basically helps customers handle their money and make a difference to their financial well-being, from spending insights to budgeting pots and tools, and even having chat functions to kind of deal with customer queries within the app regarding to financial well-being. And then the fourth pillar is basically making banking easier for customers, essentially by either helping support the telephone service channel or customer service channel, or even like through branches and internet and mobile banking as well. So that's basically frontline staff helping to kind of deliver our products and services to customers and answer any queries that customers might have. So next slide, please, Anastasia. So basically our WPB strategy falls under like 5 main pillars. So the first is basically accelerating our wealth division in the pivot to Asia, so focusing on the opportunities in the Asian market as well. And also just to improve our like international exposure as well by developing products that kind of can be used anywhere and across multiple different markets. Third is basically leveraging our balance sheets to basically develop our lending capabilities as well. Fourth is basically pivoting towards the digital channels and accelerating digital wherever we can. So that's through the mobile banking app and online banking. And then fifth is basically cost management. Funding is a main thing in the bank, so basically managing that in order to fit with our strategic priorities as well. The next slide, please, Anastasia. So this is the overview of the WPB program. So this is what I'm currently on in my first rotation. So you basically get 3 placements, or you could all be 6 months, or there's an option in your second placement to do 2 3-month placements, which is really cool as well. So the placements are fitted into 3 different sort of themes, I'd say. So the first one is basically understanding our customers and basically our customer needs. This is basically either through in-person, like through branches, or through telephone and digital channels. Like I mentioned, I'm in the digital team, so that's where I am at. It's basically a chance to really learn about WPB's key channels of communicating with our customers and essentially what our customers are looking for in our services and products. And then through that, you develop your product and propositions knowledge as well. So in the second placement, which I'm currently, again, like Kaylin, applying for and like speaking to placement managers about, but this is basically understanding our operations. So it's the opportunity to work with COO teams and also basically understand the risk framework, governance, financial crime, or change transformation, how that really goes about in the bank. And the third placement theme is strategy and people. This is sort of like a leadership placement. You basically get the opportunity to lead and inspire a team, or own a product and develop a project, work on a project, or even focus on like data and analytics to support teams, and just business development in general. And then, like I mentioned, sort of roles that you can get involved with is like chief operating officer, or like customer channels such as digital and network, or even work in specific product and propositions team like insurance, mortgages, premier, unsecured lending, wealth management, and insurance. And then after finishing the grad scheme, you get the opportunity to kind of like explore what roles you're interested in. There's so much to the bank, and obviously through networking and really keeping on top of like the opportunities available, you basically apply and roll off into a full-time role. But yeah, that's kind of like an overview of the 18-month program. So a day in the life of a WPB graduate. So this is a bit about me. I studied at the University of Nottingham as a politics and economics joint honours student. Certain things I like to enjoy is like traveling, fitness, netball, learning musical instruments, and just basically trying new foods. So when you first start off on the graduate program, you obviously get an induction. This is a chance to kind of meet all graduates starting the graduate program from multiple countries around the world, and it's a really great opportunity to network. And then you join for 1 week in-person induction event. Usually it's either Birmingham or London, and you basically just meet your cohort, and it's a really great opportunity to just see everyone beyond Zoom. And then my first placement, like I mentioned, is understanding our customers. So that's why my role is like digital experience manager for First Direct. But then my second placement will be understanding operations, and then third, strategy and people. And then sort of like, is this the professional qualifications bit? So there's 3 streams. So like professional qualification side, as a WPB grad, you could either do a more generalist program, which is the Chartered Banker Advanced Diploma, or if you want to specialize a little bit more, you can do the CISI International Certificate in Wealth and Investment at level 3. Or we get the opportunity to also do the CFA, which is really cool. And then if you want to kind of specialize in more digital / project management, you get to do the certified Scrum Master or the certified Scrum Product Master. But I believe that in the graduate scheme, you're only allowed to do one. So you have to really think carefully about what you want to do, whether you want to kind of specialize or be more general. So sort of a day in the life of a WPB graduate, I can safely say that no 2 days are the same. So currently, like, I work in London at the Canary Wharf office, and I tend to like come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and like everyone in the bank kind of is adjusted to like that flexible working, which is really nice. But yeah, like no 2 days are the same. But if I had to give like a overview, my day would usually start off with like checking emails and joining team meetings just to see what the team's working on and what I can like sort of support with, and giving updates on my sort of projects, and really like understanding like what sort of the business need is, and then supporting on that and working out deadlines and stuff. Aside from like my placement itself and delivering something at the end of it, I have to kind of like I also get involved with like graduate communities and like the employee resource groups, which is really cool. So I'm currently part of like Embrace, ERG, and also the BAME working group as well. And it's a really good chance to kind of do something outside of your placement that you're passionate about. So for me, that's ethnic and diversity in the workplace and like gender balance. So it's also all about like creating like events and designing initiatives to support that. So I've done a lot of events planning around Black History Month, which is coming up, and so that's an in-person event in HCS, which is really cool. And even like working with like the global diversity and inclusion teams, which looks at D&I agenda beyond the UK market and also like in different markets, is so cool as well, because it's making a change on a more like global scale. I haven't undertaken any professional qualifications yet, so I can't really speak on this, but we have like talks around our professional qualifications soon, and I'm sure I'll start that eventually, like in the new year or so. But yeah. And then it's always a good opportunity to network. Like, no one is too senior to speak to you. Like, everyone is so open to kind of getting to know you and just helping you wherever they can. So the perks of being in the office, that you could literally speak to anyone and go for a coffee chat, whether that be grads or senior stakeholders. And it's just a really nice environment to be a part of as well, because you just truly feel valued and welcomed ever since like the first day you join the bank. And then other development opportunities Kaylin previously like touched on, it's quite similar in WPB. There's opportunities to continue to develop your learning, such as on platforms like HSBC University, Degreed. If there's something that you're interested or not sure about, like such as Excel training, you can easily go on those platforms and do like an hour or 2 hour course on it, and you'll be fine. But yeah, there's loads of development opportunities, and you also have a program specialist and obviously your placement manager and a grad buddy to guide you if you need help in this area. But like I said, like there's so many opportunities to learn professionally and like also personally as well. And well-being is a massive thing. Like I mentioned, there's a program specialist if you ever need anything related to like mental health, or someone to just speak to or an offload. Like starting a graduate program fresh out university, it is daunting, and everyone's been in that position before. So there's so much support at the bank to kind of help you with this. So rest assured, like everyone will literally support you on whatever you need. So yeah, that's kind of like my day to day. Next slide, please, Anastasia. Okay, so sort of like myths that I guess when I came into the bank, this is what I thought and this is what I now think. So everyone assumes that it's a wealth management graduate program or like a private banking scheme. It's not anything like that. It's kind of like a general scheme to give you like the broad kind of understanding of what the bank sort of does, what the business area is about, and it's an opportunity to work with customers and clients from like the whole spectrum, from retail to all the way to high net worth. And it's mainly focused on like the retail bank, but like I said, it's such a global bank with so many opportunities that you can literally speak to anyone in any different business area if you are interested to. The assumption is that it's a specialist and technical program. Like I mentioned, it's a more general program, kind of suited to tailor your interests. So for example, if you're starting the graduate scheme and you might be interested in digital, then you can tailor the grad scheme to kind of go on to just specialize in digital, which is what it looks like I've done. But yeah, you can kind of pick placements that are just strictly digital based, and specialize early on. Or if you want to keep it broad, then do different placements each time you kind of change. Again, another common myth is that you need to study like business, economics, and finance to be successful. Absolutely not. There's so many people on the team that study history or like done like chemistry, biology. There's so many different degree backgrounds, and that's the perk of it. Like, not everyone's the same, and you get to have conversations about like other stuff besides finance. But yeah, like it's such a diverse like cohort, like especially in ours, that it's just nice to just, yeah, like everyone's welcomed, I guess. Then final myth is that HSBC's culture is very corporate, hierarchical, and therefore there's little focus on diversity and inclusion. Absolutely not. Like I mentioned, diversity and inclusion is a massive thing within the bank, and as a graduate, you can definitely support this initiative as well. And because it's such an international bank, you will probably work with like so many colleagues across the international space, and it's just crazy to like think that I've worked with like colleagues from Hong Kong, India, and it's just insane. So yeah, really take that opportunity, and really embrace your networking skills on that, because everyone is so different that it's just such a nice environment to be a part of, and you are celebrated for your like individuality as well. So yeah, that's that. And some of the things that like I've gained as being part of the graduate program is like, again, participating in like the employer resource groups and basically helping to deliver like meaningful and long-term change. Being able to work in global teams, like I mentioned, and also network with stakeholders at different seniority levels. Like if you said to me like a couple of weeks ago that I'd be speaking to like the global head of like diversity and inclusion, or like the head of customer transformation, or even like people that report into like our head of WPB, Katie Danby, it's crazy as a graduate to be able to do that. But that just goes to show that you can speak to anyone you want, and everyone is receptive to speaking to you. So really take that opportunity to just build your network, and also don't just build your network within WPB. I'd say branch out and build your network with different business areas as well, because you never know when you're going to bump into someone. And again, all projects, both placement and graduate community related, provide all sorts of learning and growth opportunities as well. And then what other skills I've developed, I guess, like I mentioned, I'm organising the Black History Month finale event in person in HCS, and that's really tested my project and time management skills, and also attention to detail, because it's making sure like I send out the invite properly, and booking the rooms out for that. So it's on top of like placement work, like it's been a challenge, but I know the outcome will be really rewarding as well. And then in my current role, I've definitely adapted to working in agile, cross-functional, and really diverse teams, whilst strengthening stakeholder management and my communication skills as well. So that's some of the skills, amongst many others, that you'll develop. And I guess I'll quickly run through the slide, but like the biggest successes that I found like starting the graduate program is building that real global network, and with different stakeholders across the bank. Been really given real responsibility at an earlier stage. What I'm currently working on in my placement is like rebuilding the digital security platform for First Direct, and once that goes live, it's going to be on there for like quite a long time, and that's literally going to impact customers, the ease that customers can bank with the bank. So it's just really crazy to see that I'm delivering such meaningful change at even entry level. So yeah, it's crazy to think that, to be honest. But it's also being able to get involved with whatever you're interested in. So if you're interested in sustainability, like Kaylin is, like you can get involved with stuff like that. Or if you're interested in D&I, you can get involved with all the diversity and inclusion based groups and embrace. And if you're interested in like just volunteering, there's opportunities to take one day just to volunteer. So it's really great. And yeah, like I guess I won't repeat myself, but the grad scheme does provide like a multitude of opportunities to grow both personally and professionally, which is like the main thing. And I guess like the steepest challenges, like the biggest challenges is like the steep learning curve, which appears scary at first, but because you're surrounded by such supportive people, and like you have your placement manager, your grad buddy, your program specialist, and all your other like friends from the cohort itself, it makes it less daunting, which is really good. And obviously balancing all your responsibilities is a big thing, but once you come out of it, like you can safely say that you've done it and you've got the skills gained from it. So yeah, my biggest advice is that just see what's out there. Like you're on the grad scheme for a reason. You've got 18 months to show sorry, there's a pop-up that's just come on my screen, to show like what you're about and what you can do and what you can deliver. So just really take that opportunity to do so and speak to as many people as you can across the bank, because you're literally put in a great place to do that. So leverage it at all opportunities, I guess. But yeah, keep an open mind to everything, because you might find something that you love accidentally, and then you just have to pursue it.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenny. And thank you so much, Kaylin, for a wonderful presentation about both of our business areas. I always enjoy these types of presentations because even though I am a recruiter, I'm not as much involved in the actual program as you guys are, obviously. So I enjoy learning something new about that as well. So thank you so much. And moving on, as promised, I wanted to discuss the application process that we currently have at HSBC. So as I've mentioned, I am a recruiter for commercial banking and wealth and personal banking programs. However, the application process is the same for all of the programs in the UK. All of our programs have a summer 2023 start. So graduate programs, internships, and industrial placement programs all start in summer 2023. Typically, all our programs start in summer. I saw some questions whether we have any programs with a January start. Unfortunately, we don't. All of them start in summer. And when it comes to the programs that we offer, so our graduate program is for everyone who graduates before the program starts or who's already graduated. Our industrial placement programs are for penultimate year undergraduates who have the placement for penultimate year undergraduate. Yeah, I think I was frozen. I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Back now. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, I think I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry for that. My Zoom does that from time to time where it kicks me out for a couple of seconds, so that's always fun. So I hope you heard me saying the majority of things, but just to reiterate, our summer internship programs are for penultimate year undergraduates who will be graduating in 2024 for this year's campaign. So how the application process looks like. Everything is pretty much self-explanatory, and you can see it already on the slide. But as for many other companies, we start with the application process and with application form itself. So once you submit your application, it should take you no longer than 20-ish minutes. What we will require from you is to fill out all the information on the form itself. Also, you will be asked to attach your CV. However, we operate on a CV blind process, meaning that we do not use your CV for recruitment processes. We do not review it for in order to determine your eligibility. We rely solely on that application form that you submit. We only use your CV for the onboarding purposes once you receive an offer. When it comes to eligibility criteria, it is fairly simple. So 2.1 degree result or international equivalent, or if you are still studying, obviously to be on track to that. Also, we require our applicants to be nationally mobile because our programs are rotational, as Jenny and Kellen have mentioned. And once you submit your application, you will receive an invite to the online immersive assessment, and it's a assessment with a series of activities that you will need to complete around a narrative focused on challenges and successes you would experience at HSBC. And all candidates receive personalized feedback report, and successful candidates are invited to the next stage, which is the job simulation. And this is an exercise that uses a range of different question types. So things like video responses, written responses, ranks and sliders with various assessment components. So things like critical judgment, behaviors, and written and verbal communication against real challenges that you will experience in the role specific to the actual business area that you are applying for. And if you are successful with job simulation, you will receive an opportunity to be invited to our final stage, which is a virtual experience day. And the virtual experience day is split into two parts, part A and part B. And for part A, you will be required to complete a series of mandatory micro exercises. You will have a deadline by which you need to complete them. And after that, you will be invited into the actual virtual experience day. It is virtual, so everything will be done via Zoom, but it will offer you a more traditional interview experience, one-to-one interviews. It will give us an opportunity to get to know you a bit better and for you to learn a bit more about HSBC as well. You also have strength-based and technical interviews covering motivation, technical knowledge, and strength-based questions. So this is how our recruitment process looks like. So as I've already mentioned, this process applies to all of our programs in the UK, and it's fairly similar for other business areas as well. So I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the actual session, but I do want to take a couple more minutes to answer your questions. I think we have 7 minutes left, so we'll be able to fill that with the answers. I think the first one that I saw was regarding a visa and in particular visa sponsorship. So just want to reiterate, yes, we do offer visa sponsorship for our graduate programs. This is reviewed on a case-by-case basis, obviously, and also at the point when the offer is made. We also are taking into consideration governmental guidelines for that. I think I saw some other questions. Whilst I'm scrolling, please feel free to add any other questions in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer them for you. In particular, if you have any questions to Kaylin or Jenny, let us know.
I've had a question that's been direct messaged to me,
Okay.
Anastasia, about somebody who says that their program ends in September next year. Can they apply next year in the summer? Is that possible?
So our graduate program, they have a sort of a global start date. This is when all of the graduates have this induction that you've seen. So unfortunately, we will not be able to offer this additional start date. However, you can apply if, for example, you officially graduate in September. However, by that time, you won't have any classes in July and August time, and you will be able to commit to a full-time program. Yes, then you are more than welcome to apply. If you know that throughout July, August, and September you will be relatively busy and won't be able to commit to a full-time role, because it will be a full-time role pretty much from the very start, then I would advise waiting and applying for the next year. A few more questions. What kind of questions do you need to complete in the second part of the application? I'm assuming this refers to the micro exercises. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, micro exercises. So micro exercises are relatively similar to our job simulation, if you've experienced those, meaning that you will have to record yourself answering the questions. There will be quite a few questions for you to answer, and you will have different types of tasks, let's put it that way, and they will be focused on analyzing data, offering and proposing some solutions, proposing your suggestions, just as much as I can offer without revealing the actual questions. Okay, I see that we have a question to Kaylin. For CMB program, would you say there are any creative opportunities, as in marketing and advertising? Kaylin, over to you, and then I can add on a few things.
Yeah. So I think that's very team specific. So some teams will be completely on one side, so mostly financial analysis, but there are also some teams that can deal with marketing and advertising. So for example, if you say you have a passion for that, and your team maybe advertises for such as phone apps or a new service or a new product that's going to be sent out to clients, then you can definitely ask your team to get involved with that, and those opportunities will definitely arise. But I think again, it's very team specific, so I can't promise that that can happen. But it's always worth asking your team.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in the team, ask them, because what your manager will tell you, your manager will ask you, what are kind of some of the things you want to get out of this team or out of this role. So if you let them know, I want to be involved in marketing or I want to do something on advertising, then they will try and maybe get you involved in some of those things. So again, the main thing is speak to the manager and let them know your intentions straight from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And also there are plenty of opportunities to get involved within the graduate community in those types of roles. So for example, we have a couple of teams that help us with advertising and promoting the graduate programs and supporting us with that. So you can very much get involved in that as well. I think we have 2 more minutes, so I want to answer a few more questions. So the first one is, what type of work experience is expected before applying for the summer internship? 0, and I'm saying that with like absolute honesty. We don't look at your previous work experience. If you have some, that's great and good for you, but all of our programs are developmental and we don't expect you to have any experience in banking and finance before you join. Everything will be taught to you during the actual program. And one more question, please, can I apply now, but I'm graduating in February? Yes, as long as you graduate before the program starts, which is July 2023 now, you are more than welcome to apply to one of our graduate programs. I think that's all of the questions we have. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And
I just wanted to add, like, if anybody wants to like contact me, I'm sure like Kaylin's the same, on LinkedIn, like feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help and answer any questions that you might have like after the session. So yeah, my LinkedIn name is just Jenny Fung. I'm sure Kaylin's like his on display as well. So yeah, feel free to just connect with us as well.
Thank you so much, both. I think that would be very beneficial for the students. I have one more question. Most of the master's students graduate in April, when it would be best to apply for graduate programs now, because we are already open for applications and we close on 6th of January. However, we recruit on rolling basis. So it's better to apply sooner rather than later, and sooner is now. So once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I am going to hand over to Charlie. So Charlie, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to say a massive thank you to all the students who joined the call this afternoon. It's been fantastic to hear from Kaylin and Jenny. Thank you very much to you also for giving some real great insight into what it's like actually working at HSBC as a recent grad. I think it's so valuable to our students to hear that directly from you. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And thank you also, as always, to Anastasia. Fantastic, as usual. Thank you very much. For everybody, the recording will be available. I spotted a question really early on. The recording will be available 24 hours after the session back on our Hay Summit site. It will get downloaded and then re-uploaded again 24 hours later, so you'll be able to access the recording there. From me, that's everything. So thank you very much for joining the session this afternoon, and we'll see you on the next one in about half an hour's time. So grab a quick drink and we'll see you back here in half an hour's time. So take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.